Welcome back to Beyond the Sold Sign Real Estate Unplugged. We are your hosts and favorite realtors, Naya
and Lauren.
And we're so excited to be back with you all for another episode. Let's get into this listener submission.
All right. We're thinking about selling in the next year or two and assumed our home's value was mostly about square footage and upgrades. But we keep hearing that other things matter just as much or more. What actually affects a home's value that people don't expect? That's a good question because we've actually talked about this on previous episodes, but we've talked about what I feel like mainly people already know, right? Like you already mentioned, upgrade, square footage.
Right.
What are we upgrading? Bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, things like that. So when this came in, I thought it made a lot of sense because you actually put what most people don't expect. So we wanted to just break it down a little bit for you. So the first one, which I think is pretty surprising, which I think a lot of people don't know, is the layout and flow of a house.
Mm-hmm.
So we hear it all the time. Hey, can you actually go ahead and do no less than 2,000 square feet on a house? Like when we're setting people up on their collection, they may ask, make sure that the house is no less than 2,000 square feet. Well, we may walk into a home and the house is indeed less than 2,000 square feet, but the flow of it and the layout doesn't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you walk into a house that's 2,300 square feet and it feels like it's 1,800 square feet, right? Like if it can feel smaller. So we try not to get wrapped up too much in square footage size, like just the number, because a lot of buyers are thinking, how do the rooms connect, right? How a flow of a house, they want to make sure it's functional. So how do the rooms connect? Bedrooms, office space downstairs? Is there a bedroom on the main level for, a parent or whatever? Is there natural light in the house? Does the house face a certain way? Is it facing east or west, right? And does the space make sense for daily life? For everyday life. Because they're not walking in, the buyers aren't walking in just saying, oh, this isn't 2,000 square feet. It can't be. But then in turn, it does end up being more than 2,000 square feet. So we just want to make sure you don't get wrapped up into that. But honestly, a slightly smaller home with a more functional layout will outperform a larger home with an awkward flow any day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was good.
Okay. All right. I was wondering.
I agree.
So
the awkward layout, if people can't get past how, I'm going to get from here to here in the house and have this situated, it's going to be a no. Yeah.
No. Yep.
Another thing that I think is important, we talk a lot about location, but not just the general location, the location of where a home is in the neighborhood is really important too. Like, is it on a main road? Is it in a cul-de-sac? Ooh. How close is it to the neighborhood entrance or, the neighborhood school, and even commercial areas or, your shopping and all of those things.
Yep.
And then the traffic and noise level based on where the home is positioned as well. Like, is there a highway behind it, even though it's a lovely neighborhood? So, two homes can look just alike, but because of their positioning or location in a neighborhood, that could be different. If the home is the first one at the entrance or if it's the one that's all the way in the back cul-de-sac, that could make a difference for somebody.
Yep.
Somebody might want to be right at the top and not go deep in the neighborhood.
Yep.
But somebody else might be like, no, I want to be tucked away and have the cul-de-sac so my kids can, ride their bike and it be way in the back. So
that's a great point. Not just where location, what county or what city, but where the house is positioned.
Yeah.
Such a good point. Because I'm thinking the big community near us where we did our new construction, that one, the beginning, if you live in the beginning of the neighborhood, you can walk to the school. But if you live in the back, you can't walk. You have to drive. So someone may be like, I don't want to drive my kid to school. I want them to be able to walk. Someone else may say something different. So that's such a good point. And that traffic and noise level, you could pull up to a house, be inside the house, and you go to the backyard and it's like, vroom, vroom, vroom. And you're like, wait a second. But then you also got to remind buyers, but did you hear any of that when you were inside the house? And they'd be like, oh, no, we didn't hear it. But do you want to actually deal with that when you go out to your backyard and your kids are playing? Is it fenced in? That's a good one.
And so I guess whichever the location is of the neighborhood, just, feed off of that, because for the right person, like it can work based on where it is.
Yeah. No, I love that. Okay. Let's see. Another one would be conditions of your big systems, and we will check this when we go tour a house with you. Like if you're a buyer, we will go in and we're looking at your HVAC. We're looking to see if we can see how old your roof is. We are not roofers. We will not get on top of a roof, but hopefully we'll be able to tell kind of the age of it. Your water heater, if the windows are original. These are big ticket items that a buyer may not be looking for when they're walking in. They may be looking, again, for the flow of the house. They may be looking how nice the kitchen's updated. But what about if your heat and your AC stops working? We want to make sure you know whether it's old. What about if the roof has a leak, or if it's in its second year of life or second half of life? Original windows, are they completely old, or do they actually have, like, are they double pane? Which one, like what type of big systems can you actually make sure you focus on, because those mentally subtract money, even if nothing is broken. And another one that I feel like buyers don't really pay attention to are your major, like your big systems, right? Like your HVAC system, which is your heating and cooling, your roof, your water heater, windows. These are, when I say big ticket items, these are things that a lot of money is just going to cost you. So we want to make sure that you have those things in place, especially for a new buyer, whether you're offering a home warranty or they're already in a good space. They work, your HVAC and your AC unit. You got to make sure, that's a big ticket item. Your roof, we may not always know what the age of the roof is, but hopefully at some point, we can tell whether it's in this first half of life or second half of life. But a lot of buyers are walking in looking at kitchen upgrades, which is great. We want that to happen, and that does help, the sale of your home. It really does. But when a buyer walks in and they see that the HVAC is 25 years old, they are already mentally subtracting money in their head. Like, man, okay, well, the house costs this, but now we have to fix this. We have to replace this. We need brand new windows because they're not double pane. So those are huge things that are going to bring you value to your house, and just something a buyer may not look at, but if they're walking in with an agent, they are definitely going to point that out.
Yep. I would say after that, how the house feels emotionally. And this might surprise people, but buyers do respond to cleanliness, smell, the light, of course, and then like neutral spaces that they can imagine themselves in. The smell is a huge one. I'll never forget. There was a situation. I had a buyer, and they had brought a parent to come look at the house as well. And there was a smell of like the previous dog, but it smelled like maybe the dog had used the bathroom in the home. And so, like, as a seller, that's something that is going to leave a big impression for a buyer. And as a seller, it might be something that you just should bite the bullet and, change that flooring or change that carpet, because you want people to have a good feeling. And like the way that the senses kick in a home, from what you see, from what you smell, that makes a difference to a buyer. Even like the neutral spaces. So if there is a lot of, I don't know, color, or just even a lot of maybe your things in the home, it can make it hard for a buyer to imagine themselves in that space, or what that space can be or feel like for them. And so, we want buyers to feel, we want them to smell, and to be like, have a positive impression from that experience walking in and being in the home. So all of those little things are going to impact their emotional feelings behind the home. So take some extra care and sense in that area.
For sure. Because some people walk in and they're like, oh, this don't feel like the right house for me.
Yeah, like, it's not, don't feel it.
And that smell, y'all think Y'all think we're playing. Smell is huge. And some sellers, I think, just may not even realize there is a smell in their home. But when you receive that feedback, just understand that it's true.
Yeah.
And as someone who does not have pets, walking into a home who does have, whether it's a very clean smelling home, I automatically know you have a pet immediately. It doesn't matter if they don't do anything. I immediately know, just because I don't have pets. And a buyer may walk in and they may also notice it as well. But that is smell is definitely something that can have, a big effect on your home's value.
Yep.
Another one would be, another set, I think, would be your street and your neighborhood. Because buyers are not just buying the house. They are really investing in the community, the schools, and most importantly, the neighbor. We tell buyers all the time, not necessarily in the winter time, because buyers normally aren't out. I mean, like neighbors normally aren't out as much. But if we go see a house and they absolutely love the house, or they just want to know some information about it, we're like, go talk to the neighbors. There's always a neighbor outside, whether it's directly next door or across the street. And neighbors are nosy, so they're always outside. Whether they're doing whatever it is, stop them. And they always want to talk about the neighborhood, whether it's good or bad. They're going to give you the tea about it. So listen to that. So buyers are definitely speaking with neighbors. So the street and the neighborhood curb appeal and the overall vibe of the neighborhood. If that brings a good just energy to just the space, that really brings a lot of value to your home. Yeah. The schools help as well, but that street and that curb appeal, that does a big number on your home's value.
So. Absolutely. And then also timing and competition. So, value isn't fixed, it's relative. So your home's worth definitely is going to depend on how many other similar homes are for sale, what the buyer demand is at that moment, and of course, the big one is interest rate environment. So all of these things kind of coupled together do have a true impact on your home's value in that season. And this is why prices change every season.
For sure. And then your inspection risk. So when a buyer obviously is putting an offer on a home and you guys are ratified, they're most likely going to get an inspection. What's the wear and tear of your house? Like, have you not had it painted since you first moved in 20 years ago? It just visible wear and tear on the house. You have little holes in the walls. Handles are off certain things. Things are just not buttoned up, and they're little minor fixes that really make a difference in a house. When you walk in, you can immediately see something when you are not used to living in it. A buyer's eye can immediately go to it and say, oh, like, what's this? What's this little? So just taking a little bit of time and extra care before you put your home on the market, so that value, it can go from here to here just by doing those little fixes. The age of the home, you can't really change. The age is the age, but visible wear and deferred maintenance that you should have been taken care of, whether that's making sure your filters are changed out and your HVAC, little things will make a huge difference when it comes to that. So making sure that you take care of that, I think, will help your home value. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And it will make a buyer very confident in buying it, saying, oh, and we hear this all the time. Wow, they really maintain this home very well.
Yep.
Because I have seen a home that was built in 2020 and then a home that was built in like 1970. And the difference you're like, wow, you've only been living here 5-6 years. You've been living here 35, 50 years, and you've taken such great care of it. And you got crayons on the wall, carpet stained. That does not make a buyer feel good when they walk in. So that right there will really help your home value. So
absolutely.
Not anything else, but
so these are the things that you definitely should consider that are, a little bit, I think, deeper than the typical things we talk about when it comes to home value. We hope that you've been able to take away a few of these things and can implement that into your strategy as you assess your value and it's your time to sell. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Be sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe, especially here on YouTube. You can find us on any podcast platform and on all social media platforms as well. Can't wait to see you next week.